But that lady, that new press secretary, she's a
that video, dude.
She's a gangster. They're prepared. And you know why they're prepared? Because they're trying to play gotcha.
Yep.
So she played gotcha with them. She checkmated them.
She came in there with that Elon Musk flamethrower.
Play that video.
Watching this clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years.
Critics say daytime TV has turned into recycled political pressure, with relentless jabs escalating to the point where Joe Rogan stepped in on his show to push back. He sharply criticized The View, calling out what he described as performative outrage and disconnected commentary. Framing it as a broader media problem, he argued that some panels have drifted far from reality. The segment builds momentum by inviting viewers into a more unfiltered style of commentary, setting the tone for what follows.
That new press secretary, she's a
that
gangster.
video, dude.
She's a gangster. Have you seen that video?
You've never
Jamie?
seen someone more prepared for a question in your life, Jamie.
Have you seen that?
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about?
Small point on that, not the big point, but small point. She was so prepared for
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, she's supposed to be prepared.
That's why I
Jamie.
said you've never seen someone
You know
more
why?
prepared.
For that.
They're
for that
prepared.
specific.
Rogan then shifted to praising Karoline Leavitt, highlighting her composure and ability to handle tough media questions with confidence and clarity. He contrasted her style with Karine Jean-Pierre, describing a clear difference in delivery and control. According to this framing, Leavitt represents a more assertive and direct communication style, which has drawn both praise and criticism. The discussion also touches on how strong political voices, especially women, are often interpreted differently depending on perspective.
This young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you, because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
The narrative intensifies as Leavitt is portrayed standing firm against criticism, refusing to back down under pressure. Supporters frame her response as confident and unapologetic, while critics see it differently. The commentary suggests that even figures like Bill Maher have voiced concerns about the tone of The View, particularly around what they see as excessive outrage and identity-driven narratives. This moment is positioned as part of a wider cultural and political divide over media discourse.
Tell the usual suspects on the far left that the saying is, when you're in a hole, stop digging. You just lost a crazy contest to an actual crazy person. What a shocker that the people who see everything through the lens of race and sex see their election loss as a result of racism and sexism. Yes, if only we weren't so irredeemably unenlightened, we would have elected a black president by now. Oh, what, we did?
Initially choosing not to respond, Leavitt is described as eventually pushing back after repeated criticism, including remarks about her qualifications. Her response is framed as precise and direct, targeting what supporters call unfair attacks. The segment portrays this as a turning point, where the conflict shifts from media commentary into a more personal and ideological clash, raising questions about how public figures are judged.
This clip, I couldn't help but think how ironic that Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar and the rest of the ladies on The View spend their time calling Republicans the conspiracy theorists. But they have been wrong about everything they have said over the last couple of years. They likened President Trump to Hitler. They have mocked him. They have shamed him. They have lied about him consistently on their show. And it was a joy to watch them on November the 6th when they realized that tens of millions of Americans do not listen to the lies that they have spewed. These women are completely out of touch with reality. And you're right, ABC should wake up.
The exchange escalates further, with Whoopi Goldberg responding forcefully. The back and forth is depicted as intense, with both sides doubling down. The narrative frames Leavitt's response as exposing weaknesses in the opposing arguments, while critics argue the situation reflects broader tensions in political media rather than a clear win for either side.
We're not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation. The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you talk about it and to hear anybody talk about the wokeness was put in place for a reason.
The discussion then broadens into criticism of Goldberg's public statements, questioning her influence and framing her commentary as controversial. Supporters of this view argue that some of her remarks have missed the mark, while others defend her long-standing role in media and culture. The segment highlights how polarizing public figures can become when their statements are amplified in highly charged political environments.
Show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
They get so much hate watching and hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean, it is a rabies-infested henhouse.
At this point, Rogan re-enters the spotlight, delivering a more sweeping critique of The View. He describes it as overly dramatic and disconnected, pointing to past controversial remarks as examples. These include widely debated statements that sparked backlash and public debate. The argument here is that such moments contribute to declining trust in mainstream media commentary.
Went after Joe Rogan on The View, and he fired back spectacularly.
You're worried about losing your job, and you're worried about podcasts taking over, and who's the source of news, and we said Donald Trump was Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us, and he won, and this is and Joe Rogan believes in dragons. They're prepared because they're trying to play gotcha.
Yep.
So she played gotcha with them. She checkmated them.
She came in there with that Elon Musk flamethrower.
Play that video.
Rogan also targets Joy Behar, criticizing what he sees as inconsistent or exaggerated takes. At the same time, he reiterates his praise for Leavitt, emphasizing her composure and clarity under pressure. This contrast is used to reinforce the broader narrative of shifting media dynamics and the growing demand for more direct communication styles.
Whoopi Goldberg saying it's worse to be a black person in America today than a woman in Iran. I say we were talking about the trans issue before, and the New York Times really has come over on that to the sort of the sensible, liberal, not crazy woke position. I think this is a great first step toward getting the Democrats back to sanity, and a second good step would be we got to do something about The View.
The final section expands into a larger critique of modern political discourse. It argues that media spaces have become dominated by ideological rigidity, where dissent is often dismissed rather than debated. The commentary frames this as a departure from traditional liberal values like open discussion and free speech. It concludes by positioning figures like Leavitt and commentators like Rogan as symbols of a pushback against what they see as performative or one-sided narratives, ending with a call for more open and balanced debate.